Yes, hamjambo familia na karibuni kwenye darasa letu la Kiswahili. Natumai unaendelea vizuri and I hope that you're doing fantastic this particular weekend, being the 29th of November, the year 2020. I want to say karibuni sana, which is simply the Swahili phrase, which means you are very much welcome to class. My name is Spikes, and I'm your tutor for this particular class. I almost said as tutor. I'm your tutor for this particular class. You can also call me Mwalimu Spikes. And Mwalimu Spikes simply means teacher. Teacher Spikes. Mwalimu simply means teacher. You know, there was one of the founding fathers of Tanzania. He was known as Mwalimu Julius Nyerere. And of course, the title Mwalimu, it's simply to mean a teacher. And in the African society, and I believe in any other society, the teachers are taken with a very, very high regard. And I also hope that you get to learn a thing or two over this particular course of the class. And of course, we started off by saying hamjambo. Hamjambo simply means hello to a group of people. If you simply meet up a group of people and you're telling them hello, in Swahili, you normally do say hamjambo. And they would respond and say hatujambo, hatujambo. And of course, if you met up with someone on the way, perhaps you're on your way to work and you happen to meet up with someone, you can simply say hujambo, hujambo, H-U-J-A-M-B-O, hujambo, it's H-U-J-A-M-B-O. And that is the way to simply say, let me just put it right here, hamjambo, which is equals to hello. Hello to a group of people. But if you're saying hello to one particular person, you simply say hujambo, hujambo. Hujambo is also hello. And therefore, I would say hello and welcome to the Swahili classes for the weekend. Yesterday, we were not able to conduct the class. We had a bit of a hitch with the weather and the connectivity. But nonetheless, today we are back on and we trust that you are doing fantastic over this particular weekend. What are you up to? You know, we do say it's the end of the month, and in Swahili we translate it to mwisho wa mwezi. But nonetheless, I hope that, I think around this particular time, people get particularly busy. People are trying to, salvage the time left in the month to do a little bit of this and that. And I also understand that it has been a weekend that has been full of offers. The Black Fridays, the Thanksgiving Thursdays, and I believe even yesterday, Saturday, was quite busy for some. But nonetheless, I hope that you're keeping safe and everything is going on well with you and your family. If not, things will eventually shape up. And of course, mambo yataendelea kuwa mazuri, which means things will eventually become better or good. Now, of course, I want to give a background into the Swahili language for those of us who are joining for the first time. I would just like to remind us that Swahili is a language which is widely spoken in Eastern and Southern Africa. If you come to a place like Kenya, you will be able to converse with Swahili. It's the national language. If you go to Tanzania, Swahili is the national and the official language. If you go to Uganda, you'll also be able to communicate in Swahili. And even if you are to go to the DRC, and also a bit of, even in Rwanda, there are Swahili speakers in Rwanda. But I believe even in the DRC Congo, people like to call the DRC Congo a jungle, but you might need a language. You will need a language to converse with the people. And the language that you will use is Swahili. And you find it very, very much important to come together on the Black Hot Fire Network to teach ourselves a language that people can be able to embrace and use to connect, because a language is all about connecting. A language is all about communication. And if you do have one African language that you can embrace and be able to communicate with, then the connection will be much more faster and for the people. Nonetheless, like I said, I want to say karibuni sana, and tuko karibu kuanzia darasa letu, which is we are almost beginning all comments in our class for today. And I said, Swahili has so many speakers. I believe about 90 million speakers or even more. 90 million speakers or even more on the African continent, considering that Kenya has about 50 million people. Tanzania also has a very, very big population. Uganda has a big population. Rwanda, the DRC, I believe it's spoken by over 100 million people on the African continent. And if you're looking for a place to start, you want to come back to the African continent, maybe you're from the diaspora and you want to get back in the African continent, I believe it would be a good thing to just be able to communicate with the people. Even if you're, just coming to Africa for travel, for tourism purposes, you want to go see what's good with the Kilimanjaro, you want to come see what's good with the coast of Mombasa. The language of Swahili is widely spoken, and I believe it's a good thing if you are able to connect with the people using their own language. Yes, you don't have to be fluent, you don't have to be you don't have to know the language at the start, but a little bit of an interest goes a long way, because one of the things about learning, any language doesn't have to be Swahili. One of the things about learning is you have to have an interest. You have to have an interest, and of course, you also have to have an appreciation of the language. You cannot learn something that you do not really appreciate. And even if you learn, it would be very, very difficult for you. The learning process might be a little bit difficult. But nonetheless, I want to get right straight into it. Remember, we do have some notes and a guidebook that you can get to use. And it's known as the Mwanzo Swahili Guidebook. Mwanzo in Swahili simply means start. Mwanzo in Swahili simply means start. And therefore, if you would like to get a particular book, which will enable you learn a bit of Swahili. I think I copied it the wrong way. Let me just get the actual link. Sorry about that. I think I got the... let me copy it the right way. Yes, the second link is a correct one if you want to learn Swahili. And if you want to get yourself a copy of the guidebook, it's very, very much easy to do so. Head over to lulu.com, and when you are on lulu.com, search for Mwanzo Swahili Guidebook. Mwanzo Swahili Guidebook, and it's very, very much easy for you to be able to get a hold of that particular one. Nonetheless, getting straight into it, I want to teach us a little bit about, one of the things that, I started off with the greetings, yeah? And the greetings also come hand in hand with how to introduce yourself. How to introduce yourself. And what you do say in Swahili, if you're talking about myself, mimi, myself, you will say mi, which is mimi ninaitwa Spikes. Mimi ninaitwa Spikes. Or you can also say ninaitwa Spikes without using mimi. And for example, if you're introducing yourself and you say hujambo, hujambo is a correct way, like I said earlier. Hujambo is a correct way to simply say hello to someone. Or you can also ask them habari yako, habari yako. Habari yako is how are you? How are you? Let me just try put it in habari yako. Habari yako. Habari yako. Simply how are you? Simply habari yako. And you can also use two of them at the same time. You can tell someone hujambo. You can say, you just met someone. Maybe they could be your friend, they could be an acquaintance, they could be this and that. And so when you meet up with someone and you want to converse them with Swahili, of course, you have to introduce yourself. And even before you introduce yourself, you have to get their attention, yeah? And the way to get their attention is simply to say hello to them. And therefore, you will meet up with them. And if it's a brother, the brother, it's kaka. It's kaka for brother. If you're talking to a brother or a man, or a brother who is about your age, you will simply call them kaka, which means brother. Kaka, which means brother. But if it's a sister or a lady, if it's a sister or a lady who is almost also about your age, you would call her dada. You would simply call her dada. And therefore, if you met up with someone and you wanted to say hello to them, you can also refer to their gender. You can simply say hujambo dada, hujambo dada. You simply say hujambo dada, hujambo dada, which is hello sister. It is hello sister. It doesn't have to be your biological sister. It could be just someone who is a sister and she is almost about your age. You would say hujambo dada. And of course, if it's a brother that you have met on the way and you want to say hello to them, you would say hujambo kaka, which is a hello brother, which is hello brother, which is hujambo kaka. It's a way you would simply say hello brother. And you can ask them how they are doing. How are you? If you want to ask them how are you, you would simply say habari yako, habari yako, habari yako. Habari yako. Kaka simply means how are you, brother? How are you, brother? Now, of course, if you wanted to say how are you, sister? How are you, sister? You would say habari yako, dada. Habari yako, dada. That is for how are you, sister? How are you, sister? If you're talking to an elder lady, and maybe perhaps she's the age of your mom, yeah, or she is just an elderly lady, you would simply ask them, habari yako mama. Habari yako mama. Habari yako mama simply means how are you, mom? How are you, mom? How are you, mom? That is simply how you would say hello to them and also get their attention, just getting to know how they are doing. But if someone, they would respond, let me just tell you how they would respond. They can respond and say njema. They can respond and say njema, which is good, which is okay or good. They can also respond and say nzuri. Nzuri is also okay or good. And nzuri, which is also okay or good. And they might also emphasize, I'm doing very okay, I'm doing very well. They can also say salama before we even go on to how they would respond. They can also say salama, which means well, all okay. If you have someone, habari yako ndugu, or habari yako kaka, or habari yako dada, they can respond and say salama. They can respond and say nzuri. They can also respond and say njema. Either of these three responses are actually very, very correct. And now, of course, they might also emphasize, they might also emphasize and say, I am very well, or I am very okay, or I am very good. And therefore, they would say nzuri sana, which is a simple phrase, which means very well, or very okay. Very well or very okay. And they might also say salama sana, which means very well, I'm doing very well. This is just a way to emphasize, and it's a Swahili phrase. If someone says salama sana, it's a way to emphasize. They can also go further and emphasize and also say salama sana asante, or salama sana nashukuru. If someone says asante, it means thanks. It means thanks. Or if they can also say ninashukuru, ninashukuru, they say that means I am grateful. And I even say hello to someone and they're trying to continue the conversation. They can say, you might say someone and say hujambo, and they would respond and say hujambo, and then you can ask them habari yako, and then they would say sijambo. Nzuri, sorry, they would respond and say nzuri. They can also respond and say nzuri sana. Nzuri sana simply means very well, or they can also say salama sana, which means I am very okay. And that is a way to have a conversation going. But of course, like I said, you have to get someone's attention. And the way to do it, you can say hujambo if it's to one lady. You can say hujambo dada. Hujambo dada, it's hello sister. If you say hello to a brother, you will simply say hujambo ndugu or hujambo kaka. And they would respond and say sijambo, sijambo. Or you can also say greetings to them in Swahili and ask them habari yako dada, habari yako dada. Habari yako dada simply means how are you sister? How are you sister? It simply means how are you sister? And if you wanted to say hello to a mom, an elderly woman, you can say habari yako mama, habari yako mama. And the woman would simply respond and say nzuri, or she can respond and say salama, or she can respond and say njema. These three answers are also correct. But of course, the most popular one is nzuri, nzuri, or salama. These are two popular responses. When you say hello, how are you to someone, how are you to someone, they respond and say nzuri. And when they respond and say I am well, or I am okay, or I am good, they can also add and say I am grateful. You know, I am grateful, or thanks. I am good, thanks. Therefore, it would be nzuri sana. If you ask someone habari yako, they will respond and say nzuri sana, and then they can add ninashukuru. Ninashukuru simply means I am thankful, or I am grateful for your greetings, or for checking up on me, or something like that. And another word to say thank you is shukran. 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 If someone did something good to you and now they did you a favor, you can simply tell them shukran, shukran. Especially, I believe, for the Muslim brothers and sisters, they do say shukran. And therefore, shukran means thank you. Or you can also say asanti, asanti, asanti. And Asante sounds like the West African name Ashanti. It sounds like the West African. There's a tribe in West Africa which is known as Ashanti. And I believe they speak the Ashanti language, if I'm not mistaken. And this is in places like, I believe, Ghana, Nigeria, and other parts of West Africa. But for today, we are focusing on East Africa. And I was saying that Swahili is widely spoken in the East African and the Southern African part of the continent. It has over 100 million speakers because, for example, in Kenya, it's a national language in Kenya. It's a national language in Tanzania. I believe it's also a national language in Uganda. And therefore, between these three countries, Kenya has a population of 50 million. Uganda has also a big population. Rwanda has also a big population. The DRC Congo has also a big population. And therefore, if you look at the numbers, I also believe in Zambia. In Zambia, you'll also find some Swahili speakers in Zambia. And therefore, it's a good thing. Once we come together on the Black Fire Network and learn a bit of Swahili. Remember, if you do have any question, it will be very, very much easy for you to be able to learn from us right here on the Black Fire Network. It's not time wasted. Let me tell you something. It's not time wasted learning a new language. Ask me why. Because the more you learn a new language, you're sort of refreshing your mind. You're sort of, your mind becomes younger and younger. Even as you get to learn more, it becomes sharpened. It becomes sharper even as you learn other new languages. It's not too late. Some people, I believe, for example, is it the Pope? I think John, that was of the former Pope. I think the former Pope could speak about 15 languages or 13 languages. I'm trying to remember the actual numbers, but he was very, very well versed with languages. And it's not a bad thing. I don't think you lose anything by learning a new language. But nonetheless, continuing with the conversation, how would you have a conversation in Swahili? If at all you were to have one, how would you have a conversation? And I already told us that if you're saying hello to someone, you simply say hujambo to them. And the response will be sijambo. Sijambo is actually the response. It's the response. It's a response for hello, for a hi or hello. That is sijambo. Sijambo. It's the way you respond and say sijambo. And of course, you can ask someone, how are you doing? How are you doing? How is your day going? How are you doing? You will simply ask them, unaendeleaje? 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 Unaendeleaje, which is how How are you doing? How is your day going? Is your day going? How is your day going? But before even we continue the conversation of like how you would have just an easy conversation or just to have a random conversation with someone, you can talk about a few things because in Swahili people are normally indirect. People are not normally indirect, and you can also ask them siku yako inaendeleaje, which is how is your day going as well. And of course I was saying earlier that being in November and being the end of the month. The end of the month in Swahili is normally referred to as mwisho wa mwezi. Mwisho wa mwezi, it's at the end of the month. And at this junction, I would just like also to tell us that we have learned two things. The start, I was saying that the notebook or the guidebook that we use for this Swahili class is known as Mwanzo Swahili Guidebook. The Mwanzo Swahili Guidebook is really, it means, Mwanzo means start. Mwanzo simply means start. And the end simply is referred to as mwisho. Mwisho is normally the end. And someone might ask themselves, why do I need to learn Swahili while you have Google translation? It's a very, these are two different things. Having a conversation and communicating with someone through a conversation is not the same as, searching up words on Google and translating them, because even the pronunciation for you might be particularly difficult. And therefore, having a class like this would be really an interesting way to approach your learning for Swahili. But nonetheless, even getting back into, the greetings. Like I said earlier, many different communities have different ways they also, do their greetings. And even in Swahili, there are places, for example, in the coastal region where someone might say shikamo. Shikamo is also a greeting. And the way to respond is really say marahaba. Is a response to hello. That is a response to hello. Shikamo marahaba. And therefore we have learned a couple of things. And I also want to remind us that the start of something is known as mwanzo, and the end of that thing is known as mwisho. The start is mwanzo and the end is known as mwisho. And of course, apart from that, we also do have other interesting things. You can you say have waited? Oh, okay. Yes, if you met up with someone, thank you so much for your question, Adiodi. We trust that you are doing well. Maybe someone was waiting for you, yeah? Maybe you told them to wait for you at the train station, or they are waiting for you at the airport, or they are waiting for you wherever else, maybe at the bus station, yeah? And so when you meet them up, you would say hujambo. Hujambo, for example, if it's one individual, you would say hujambo. Say hujambo. If it's a sister, you will say hujambo dada, because dada is for sister. Dada is for sister. And you will tell her, hujambo dada. And then she will respond and say sijambo kaka. She will respond and say sijambo kaka. And then you will say, I hope you meant to say, I have waited for you. I have been waiting for you. I have been waiting for you. And perhaps you want to emphasize that you have been there for a long time, yeah? You would say, nimekungoja sana. Which is, it's a phrase, nimekungoja sana, which means I have waited. I've been waiting, I have waited on you a long time. And when you break it down, ngoja simply means wait. And sana simply means a lot. Sana means a lot, or a long time. It means a lot, or a long time. Lily, what does that mean? Lily, what is really not, I do not know any words that has a double L in Swahili. I think you got the spelling wrong. I do not know any word in Swahili that has double L on it. Let me tell you something you'll not find in Swahili. You'll not find the letter X in Swahili. Any Swahili word, Swahili does not use letter X. Swahili also does not use a letter Q. You will not find those two in Swahili. And also something else interesting, now that you have brought it up, in Swahili you'll not find a name that has two letters, like two letters following each other. For example, a name with a double L, or a name with a double B, or a name with a double C, or a name with a double K. It does not happen like that. That's not really Swahili. If someone comes up and they write a word on the wall and it has double B on it, or double C on it, or double W on it, that's not really a Swahili word. And that is why I'm wondering, brother, when you say about Liliwati, I think you got the name wrong. What does that mean? I think you got the right, because you not have any word in Swahili that has double, letters following each other, like KK or WW or DD. I have never seen such in my whole life. Maybe you got it wrong, and therefore maybe mistaken. Maybe you made something else. Liliwati. Liliwati, I'm not sure what that is. Liliwati. No. Also in Swahili, we do not have, that is not Swahili. Also, we do not have, there is what we call the special class of consonants in Swahili. There is no word in Swahili that has an L and Y following each other. Let me also put that correct. There is not any word in Swahili that has an L and Y together. That is not Swahili. Let me just touch briefly on something. I think this will also build on your knowledge on Swahili. In Swahili, we do have 5 vowels. 5 vowels, 5 vowels in Swahili, which is A, E, O, and U. Those are the five vowels in Swahili. And from what you see on these 5 vowels, brother DOD, these are the 5 vowels in Swahili. This is a basic, vowels and consonants are the basic, what can I call them? Are the basic unit. These are the basic unit or the basic standard in any language. And so Swahili has the 5 vowels. And these 5 vowels are the English letter A, the English letter E, the English letter I, the English letter O, and the English letter U. These are the 5 vowels in Swahili. And what you get to realize, any word in Swahili ends with a syllable, with a syllable constituting either of these vowels. It ends with a syllable. Any Swahili word or any Swahili phrase ends with the syllable using any of these vowels. For example, if I'm talking about a book, for example, I'm talking about a book here. I have a book here. This is known as kitabu. And therefore, you get to understand it ends with that vowel U, which is the English letter U. And now these 5 vowels, how you pronounce them is A, E, O, U. Those are the 5 vowels in Swahili. And then anything else that is not among these, anything else that is on the English alphabet, that is not on these letters, is not among these 5 letters, it constitutes the Swahili consonants. The consonants in Swahili constitutes all the letters in the English alphabet, except for X and Q. And so you get to realize that in Swahili not find any word that ends with the X, that has an X and Q anywhere. Derek Askew, thank you so much for just checking in on us. We are having a Swahili class for the weekend, and we trust that you are doing fantastic. And also, apart from these consonants, because I was saying the consonants and the vowels are the basic units in any language, yeah? And therefore, you get to realize that every Swahili word ends with a vowel sound, either kitabu, either simu, either mwalimu, either kibeti, kabati, kikombe. They all end with the vowel sound, the vowel sound, which is a, e, o, u. For example, the word andika. Andika simply means to write, and it ends with the vowel ka, a. Nonetheless, also telling us that we do have more consonants in Swahili, and these consonants comprise, they constitute a special class of consonants. For example, I said letter C, the English letter C is a consonant in Swahili, but we can have a combination of a C and H to form a special class of consonants. For example, C and H is a special class of consonants. For example, D and H is a special class of consonants. S and H is a special class of consonants. T and H is a special class of consonants. And D with an apostrophe, this is also another special class of Swahili consonants. And then we also do have others. I'm not able to enumerate all of them. But for the purposes of examples, for example, if you're talking about food, yeah? You're talking about food. You will say chakula, which means food. Chakula, which means food. If you want to use DH, D and H is a special class of consonant, you say the habu, which means gold. The habu, which means gold. If you're talking about what does that mean? Nia Sadi. I think you mean ni, yeah. I think you mean ni, yeah, which is this means actually is for. Let me just try to break it down. Is for. It's for. I think that's a phrase. Let me just break it down a bit. For example, if you say na ni ya, I don't think it's NIA. NIA doesn't really also, I don't know any word in Swahili that which is NIA. But if you break it down and become ni ya, for example, if you pick up a pen, let me just use the example pen. Let me just pick the example of a pen. And you have this particular pen. Let me try. Yeah, you have this particular pen, yeah? And what you want to say is kalamu. Kalamu, like in Swahili, we say kalamu ni kalamu. Kalamu, this is a pen. Kalamu. 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 And you might say kalamu ni ya kuandika. Kalamu ni ya kuandika, which means the pen is for writing, or it's used to write. It's for writing. It's used to do this and that. Is for writing in that particular context. Is for writing. And therefore, if you say ni ya, sade. I said there is also not any word in Swahili which is said. I said he is also not Swahili. I said he is also not Swahili. So I'm trying to understand, brother, what you are asking. I said I would read it as said, but sade wouldn't. There isn't any Swahili word like that. But for the part of nia, that simply means is for, or is used to. It's for. For example, if you say a brush, a toothbrush. A toothbrush is known as a mswaki, and you can say mswaki ni ya kusugua meno. Meno, like the teeth, we do call the teeth meno. You can say mswaki ni ya kusugua meno, which means the toothbrush is for cleaning your tooth, or something like that. But nonetheless, you can also ask anything else, brother DOD. I hope I'm not okay. Lance, I have someone on my phone asking me these questions to ask you. It's all good. I would like to know how they're pronouncing it, because said is really not Swahili. I hope I teach you Swahili, and I hope also you get to get a copy of these particular notes, so that you can be able to learn more and learn even with much ease. Let me share with us this link again. If you'd like to get a copy of these notebook, we'd just like to urge you to get it on lulu.com. And when you are on lulu.com, you can download it and be able to learn even as we continue. It's okay, DOD. I understand. You saying you have someone who wants to know. It's a good thing. And I wish they could also join the class. You know, you could also send them a link if they are able. If they are not in a busy place, you can send them a link of the show, and it would be really, really interesting if they wanted to ask a question. I can also send a direct link. If anyone would like to ask a question on a direct link, would be much also easier to be able to do so. They can either watch, or they can either also join me on the show and ask their questions as we continue with the class. It's very, very much allowed. Nonetheless, I was teaching us about the vowels in Swahili. I was teaching us about the vowels in Swahili, and I was saying we do have 5 Swahili vowels: A, E, O, U. And then we do have the consonants, which is all the letters of the English alphabet except for Q and X. And then plus those, we also do have the special class of consonants that I labeled earlier: CH, TH, NG with an apostrophe, and all these other different kinds of Swahili special classes of consonants. Nonetheless, I want to go much and talk about the members of the family. I believe I have already done this, but nonetheless, it doesn't have to remind us. And from the members of the family, I will also teach us a little bit about the parts of the body, and also basic or very, very common Swahili words. You know, I talked about chakula. Chakula, you know, you cannot have a conversation without mentioning food. You know, you cannot have a conversation without mentioning money. You cannot have a conversation without mentioning something like water. Things are very, very, very much common. Let me just start with them, and then we shall talk about the members of the family and also the parts of the body. Some very, very common Swahili words include pesa, P-A-S-A, pesa, which means money. And if someone was to ask, you know, was to put across the phrase, which is pesa ngapi, they would mean how much money. That would be how much money, how much money. That it would be pesa ngapi. You know, if you go to a market, or you go to a shop, you maybe go to a shop and you point at something, and maybe you need to get it. You can ask, for example, let me just even use examples of a hotel. You got into a hotel and you want to know chakula ni pesa ngapi. Chakula, which is food, chakula ni pesa ngapi, which is how much is the food. How much is the food. They are very, very popular things or phrases. She's about to join the class. Okay, thank you. Thank you for inviting her, DOD. I appreciate you inviting her. And therefore, I wanted to share with us some very, very popular, Swahili phrases. These Swahili phrases include, like you said, money, of course. Let me tell you something. When we went to Rwanda, that was in last year, November. Was it November, December? Yeah, November, December. So we went to Rwanda with the Blackcoat family. And when people are moving about their businesses, I do not know Kinyarwanda, but the people speak Kinyarwanda there. They also speak Kiswahili. But they always kept on saying, I'm a faranga. And I was wondering, what is this amafaranga thing about? And I could also even see on some of the billboards, because some of the billboards are also written in Kinyarwanda, and I could see amafaranga, and I was thinking maybe amafaranga because most of the communication billboards, for example, airtime companies, telecommunication companies had the billboards with advertising things and that. And when I was moving about to Guria amafaranga, at some point I had to ask, what is this amafaranga thing? Only for me to realize that was money. It's referred to money. And you cannot have a conversation, or you cannot go around without hearing money pop up in a conversation. And like I also say, food is also very, very much, you cannot have a whole day. Someone will ask you, have you had some food? Have you eaten? And this and that. And therefore, it's very, very much important to talk about some of these popular words in Swahili. Like I said, money is translated into pesa. And there is a difference between money and wealth. Money, of course, you all know the difference between money and wealth. But in Swahili, wealth in Swahili is actually translated into mali, M-A-L-I. Mali is wealth. you would translate that into Mali. I'm just sharing with us a few popular words, a few popular phrases and words in Swahili before we just get to get our minds around this particular new language of Swahili. And I was saying you will find over 100 million speakers of Swahili in the African continent, over 100 million Swahili speakers in Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo, in Zambia, among other different places. And there was also a different understanding. There was an understanding, an MOU that was put across by the Southern African countries. We do have a trade bloc in Africa. It's known as the Southern African Development Corporation, and Tanzania happens to be among the members of the SADC, which is the Southern African Development Corporation. And they got into a resolve that they will start putting measures together, all programs together, to have Swahili being introduced in these Southern African countries. And therefore, I believe if this is followed up in the next 5 years or in the next 10 years, we can also see the introduction of Swahili in classes in these Southern African countries, which is a wonderful thing because it would connect us as a people in East Africa, Southern Africa, and later in West and Central Africa. It will be really, really wonderful to have that kind of a connection and people being connected. Higher frequency, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're saying Mambo Kaka. Higher frequency. Let me just get to just correct you. It's Kaka. It's Kaka for brother. It's Kaka for brother. I know it sounds like a C, but what would sound like a C in English, that is normally a K in Swahili. Even when I say kalamu, let me just use the example of a pen I gave earlier. A pen is known as a kalamu, but the way you put it is Kalam, is kalamu, like that. But thank you for making a wonderful attempt. Thank you so much. That is a kalamu. Which is a pen, or a ball pen, a ballpoint in Swahili. And of course, you can also say hujambo kaka. You can also say hujambo kaka, which is hello, which is hujambo kaka, which is hello brother, which is hello brother, which is hello brother. And on my side, if I want to respond appropriately, I should respond appropriately. And I say sijambo, 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 which is a response, the response for hello, for the response for hello, the response for hello, the response for hello. I would simply say sijambo, sijambo, and that would be how you would actually put it. And are you saying kuhere? I don't know what kuhere is. And also, if you said mambo to someone, mambo is really not, it's not official. Mambo is not official. If you go to an office and you say mambo, mambo is really not official. Mambo is casual. If you went into an office and you found the front office operator, maybe the receptionist, the greetings in Swahili, there are two greetings. You can simply say hujambo to them, that is official. You can also say habari yako, which is how are you, which is also official. But if you said mambo, mambo is for friends. If you're saying you're friends, you're friends with someone and you walk up to them and tell them mambo, mambo is also hello, And the response for mambo, someone simply says poa, P-O-A, is a response for mambo, So if you're having a conversation and it's casual, it will not that official, you can say a mambo to someone and they will respond and say poa. Nonetheless, I want to share with us. Thank you so much, High Frequency, for joining us. I think I also saw who was with us earlier. I think I also saw DOD. Ghana doesn't speak Swahili. I do not know about Swahili speakers in Ghana. In Ghana, we do have different languages. I understand the likes of I think even Ashanti, they do speak even, I think, a bit of Fulani in Ghana. They have many languages in Ghana, but Swahili has not been, it's spreading across the continent. But, the birthplace of Swahili is the East African coast of Mombasa and Zanzibar. and Tanzania and other coastal towns, all the East African. But I was saying it's spreading down to the southern parts of Africa and even in central, a bit of in central. And then later, I believe it can spread to West Africa and North Africa. That would be the most wonderful thing to happen when people are able to converse in their own language and be proud about the language that they are speaking in. Nonetheless, going back to the common words in Swahili, I said chakula. Chakula is food. If you're having some food, you normally call it chakula. Chakula, chakula. If you're talking about money, I said it's pesa. If you're talking about wealth, yeah, wealth is Mali. We do have a West African country known as Mali, and Mali in Swahili simply means wealth, wealth. And it doesn't surprise me, seeing that the most wealthy African man in history came from Mali, which is the West Africa, Mali, and of course that was Mansa Musa. If you're learning some African history, and of course we do have some other different popular words in Swahili. For example, simu. Simu is a phone. Simu is a phone. A cell phone is a cell phone, or just a phone, which is a simu. We also do have things like maji. Maji is water. Maji simply means water. If you would like to ask for some water, we simply say nipe maji. Tafadhali nipe maji. Maji is maji, which is water. Maji, which is water. And the language is Luha or Luga. It can be Luga or Luha. And as you say Luga is a language. The language. You can say Luga, and that is the language. And we also do have some other popular things. For example, safari. Safari is a tour. Safari is a tour. Safari is a tour. Safari is really a tour. You can also talk about, Rafiki. Rafiki is a friend. Rafiki is a friend. And therefore, you might even say Hujambo Rafiki. Hujambo Rafiki. Hujambo Rafiki would be a phrase meaning hello friend. Hujambo Rafiki would be hello friend. Hello my friend. Hello friend or hello my friend. And of course, these are just some of the popular words in Swahili you will hear, day in, day out as you're going about your business. Like you said, you can also say the times of the day, which is also very, very much popular. Times of the day ni asubuhi, for example, asubuhi. Asubuhi simply means the morning. Asubuhi simply means the morning. It means the morning. And remember, we said if you want to conduct greetings in Swahili, there are two ways to do it. You can say hujambo to someone, which is hello, and they will respond and say sijambo. And you can also ask them habari yako. Habari yako is a phrase which also means how are you in Swahili. And you can also ask them habari ya asubuhi. Habari ya asubuhi simply means how is your morning. How is your morning? How is your morning? How is your morning? And therefore, you can simply just start off a conversation very, very much easy by simply say hujambo to someone, and then they look at you and say sijambo. They might not have been looking at you, or you just got their attention. You will simply say hujambo, or you can say hujambo dada, because that is hello sister, or you can say hujambo kaka. And then they look at you and say sijambo dada or sijambo kaka. And then you can ask them habari ya asubuhi. Habari ya asubuhi. Habari ya asubuhi is how is your morning? How is your morning? How is your morning? And now, of course, in the evening around in the late afternoon, the late afternoon is known as alasiri. Alasiri. Let me just start with early afternoon. Early afternoon. At the noon, let me just start with noon. The noon is known as adhuhuri. Adhuhuri. That is the noon, around 12. And you can also talk about alasiri. Alasiri is the evening. The late afternoon. Is the late afternoon. The late afternoon. And the evening in Swahili, the evening is known as jioni. Jioni simply means the evening. The evening is jioni. And if we're talking about early morning, you know, if we're talking about early morning, it's called the early morning. The early morning is known as we do have the early morning, but nonetheless, we do have I got myself almost confused. Jioni. Yes, jioni is correct. It's jioni. It's evening. You can ask someone habari ya jioni. Habari ya jioni. Habari ya jioni simply means how is your evening? How is your evening? How is your evening? And of course, if you're meeting up with them and you had a conversation, you can also tell them goodbye. And goodbye is kwaheri. Kwaheri. That reminds me, we should also learn a little bit about common courtesy words in Swahili. And I'm talking about common courtesy. If you want to tell someone please, you do say tafadhali, which is please, equal to please. If you want to say please sister or please brother, you know, please sister will be tafadhali dada, and then your please would be followed with your request, yeah. And your request normally starts with I would like, and in Swahili you translate that into ningependa. Let me just put a small kind of a dialogue scenario. You say tafadhali dada, tafadhali dada, which is a please sister. Ningependa, then that would be I would like. It would be please sister, I would like this and that. For example, you're asking for a little bit of water, yeah? You're just asking kindly for a little bit of water. Therefore, you would say tafadhali dada, ningependa kuomba maji kidogo. Kuomba simply means to request. Kuomba, omba means to request. Omba means request. I hope I'm not moving too fast. Yeah, if I'm moving too fast, please do let me know. I would, in case you do have a question so far, kindly feel free to shoot. Yeah, if you do have a question, tafadhali, please ask. Uliza, tafadhali uliza. Uliza simply means ask. Tafadhali uliza. And of course, that is simply how you normally say it. Tafadhali uliza swali. Uliza swali. Uliza is ask. Ask a question. And swali is a question. Swali is a question. And if I say uliza swali, it simply means ask a question. Uliza swali, it simply means ask a question. Ask a question. Brother, you're asking what about good night? You say usiku mwema. Usiku is a night time. Usiku is a nighttime or nighttime. Mchana is a daytime. And if you want to tell someone good night, you tell them kuwa na usiku mwema. Usiku mwema. Kuwa na usiku mwema. It simply means have a good night. Kuwa na usiku mwema simply means have a good night. Have a good night. If you want to wish someone to have a good day, you tell them kuwa na siku njema. Kuwa na siku njema simply means have a good day. Have a good day. Earlier on, I was telling us that there are three ways you can also put good. You know, for example, you can say njema. It simply means good. All okay. Or you can also say nzuri. Nzuri, nzuri also means good, all well, all okay. If someone says kuwa na usiku mwema, it simply means I have a good night. And if someone says kuwa na siku njema, it simply means have a good day. And those are the simplest ways in which you can actually just tell them you're wishing a good day. Now, let's go back to courtesy. It's very, very much good to be polite and to be courteous in your conversation when you're having it with someone, especially maybe an acquaintance. Yeah. Like I said, you start with tafadhali. Tafadhali is for please. If you want to just kindly tell someone to be polite to someone, you simply will start with tafadhali. And of course, if you want really to say thank you after they have accorded you that particular kind of a request, thank you is asante. I said it earlier. You can say asante, or you can also say shukran. You can say asante, or you can also say shukran. And apart from that, there is also other things that you can say. For example, sorry. You stepped on someone's toes and you want to tell them sorry. You simply say pole. Pole, which simply would be the spelling of a pole, but it's pole, P-O-L-E, pole, pole sana. If you want to emphasize, you normally do say sana. Sana is a lot. Sana is a lot, means a lot. Or very. Sana means a lot or very. And if you say asante sana, it means you're emphasizing very, you're emphasizing thanks a lot. You're saying thanks a lot. If you did say pole sana, it means very sorry. And that is a way it can be understood. And it's not difficult, really. I always keep on saying that practice makes perfect. You cannot learn Swahili in a day. There's no language you can learn in a day unless you're a supercomputer or you're programmed just and the information is uploaded. But nonetheless, you can be able to learn, step by step. And there are different ways in which you can be able to learn. You can exercise it with your friends, you can exercise it with your colleagues, you can exercise it with your family. And the more you practice, the more you become fluent in Swahili. And I say you have to start from somewhere. And of course, the way to start is have an interest and also have an appreciation of the language. And once you do have those two, then you look up for the resources. How can I learn this Swahili? Who can I learn it with? On the Black Horse Fire Network, we are affording you these particular free Swahili classes for the weekend. And it's actually a good that you join us 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Every Sundays and Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Apologies, yesterday we were not able to have the class, but next week we purpose that we shall continue with the same. If you do have a question to that particular extent, kindly feel free to ask. If you do have a question, kindly feel free to ask, because we were just touching a little bit about the common courtesy words, and I was saying tafadhali. Tafadhali simply means please. Tafadhali simply means please. And of course, if you want to say goodbye, you normally say kwaheri. If you want to welcome someone into your house or welcome them anywhere, perhaps someone just got into your office and you wanted to welcome them, you would simply say karibu, K-A, karibu, K-A, karibu. What would sound like a C in English, it's normally a K in Swahili. And you would say karibu, which means welcome. If you wanted to emphasize and say you are much welcome or very welcome, you would say karibu sana, karibu sana, simply to mean very welcome, very welcome. So do not forget, the more you practice, the more it becomes, ingrained into your mind, and that way you can be able to become a good Swahili or a great Swahili speaker eventually. We also do have some other words. For example, best wishes. Yeah, you just want to wish someone best wishes. The way to do it is tell them kila laheri. Kila laheri would be best wishes. Would be best wishes, or wishing someone luck in something. You can just wish them the best of luck. And another way you can tell them so, you will tell them ninakutakia kila laheri. That is the way you'd say it. Ninakutakia kila laheri. And they would understand that is you wishing them a wonderful, a success in whatever endeavor that they are choosing to pursue. Nonetheless, please do let me know if you still tune in. Where are you tuning from? And of course, if you do have a question, we almost went it up. But if you do have a question, kindly feel free to ask. Like I said, I am your tutor or your teacher. You can call me Spikes, Mwalimu Spikes, which is a teacher. Mwalimu is a teacher. Mwalimu is for teacher. and that is the way it is. You can say Mwalimu Spikes if you would like to do so. But nonetheless, we are almost winding up. And if you do have a question, feel free to shoot. And like you said, you can also get a copy of the notes on lulu.com. And just look for Mwanza Swahili guidebook, and you can get it for I believe $8 right there on lulu.com. This is a link I'm sharing with you, and of course we are winding up. I just want to thank everyone, starting with DOD, who has been the most interactive in class. DOD, thank you so much, brother. I never take your company on the class for granted. And also the sister, is it High Frequency? I believe that is a sister, if I might be mistaken, but I believe that is a sister, High Frequency. And if it's a brother, still I thank you. Thank you so much for joining us in class for today. And even Keith Newsome for giving us this platform. We are very, very much thankful. And we appreciate the work that you are doing with the Black Hot Fire Network. Tomorrow we shall be connecting on the Africa Today show. We shall also be connecting on the 54 Corresponding show, the Kami African Diary, the Breaking the Matrix by Sister Mariah from Uganda, and also among other different shows right here on the Black Hot Fire Network. If you would like to support the network, feel free to do so. You can cash up Mr. Black Hot Fire on Cash App, or you can also use the network website. We would be very, very much delighted to get your support, and of course to enable us do much more work right here on the Black Hot Fire Network. Till then, much peace and love. I want to thank you so much for taking the time as well. I would say Asante Kaka, which is a thank you, brother. Asante Kaka, which is a thanks, brother. Thanks, brother, is Asante Kaka. And if you tell me thanks, I would say welcome. Welcome, I would simply say karibu, welcome, which is karibu sana, karibu sana, karibu sana. If you tell me thanks, I would say karibu sana, which means you're very welcome. You are very welcome. Much peace and love. Till next time, I want to wish you a happy and productive week ahead. I understand it's the new week. It's December. We just are kicking off the holidays, the December holidays. But the whole year to me seemed to be somewhat a holiday. It's been crazy. But nonetheless, I thank you so much. Till next time, I want to say kwaheri, which is goodbye. Umande solama, ayo, ayo.